Why do we love to be scared? It's a paradox, isn't it? An intriguing question that tugs at the very fabric of our human nature. Consider for a moment the peculiar phenomenon of fear. It's an emotion designed to alert us to danger, to prompt us to flee from threats, and yet it's something we often seek out deliberately. We're drawn to it, fascinated by it, and even entertained by it. It's a curious thing, this human penchant for fear and horror. Take, for instance, the immense popularity of horror movies. These films, crafted to elicit feelings of dread and terror, are a mainstay in the cinematic world. We flock to theatres, immerse ourselves in the narratives, and willingly subject ourselves to the thrill of fear. We relish the adrenaline rush, the heart-pounding suspense, and the eerie, unsettling atmosphere. And it's not just the silver screen that captivates us. Haunted houses too hold a certain allure. These spine-chilling attractions, with their dark corridors and sudden scares, draw crowds by the thousands. We venture into them, knowing full well what awaits, and yet we press on, driven by a strange mix of trepidation and excitement. Even our stories, the tales we tell around campfires or in hushed whispers under the cover of night, are often filled with elements of horror. We spin yarns of ghosts and ghouls, of monsters and malevolent spirits. These stories, designed to send shivers down our spines, are shared and retold, passed down through generations. So what is it about fear that we find so compelling? Why are we drawn to horror, to the thrill of being scared? It's a paradox that's as fascinating as it is perplexing. An emotion meant to protect us, yet we seek it out for entertainment, for the thrill it provides. It's a question that taps into the very essence of what it means to be human. Let's delve deeper into the psychology of horror and try to unmask this paradox. Fear, an emotion we usually avoid, becomes a thrill in the world of horror. Why is that so? Well, let's dive into the murky depths of our minds to find out. The key to understanding this paradox lies in the intricate workings of our psychology. The fear we experience while watching a horror movie or walking through a haunted house is exciting because it's not a genuine threat to our survival. It's a safe fear, a fear we can control. Firstly, let's consider the adrenaline rush, the body's own roller coaster ride. When we're scared, our body releases adrenaline, a hormone that prepares us to either fight the danger or flee from it. This is what we call the fight or flight response. Heart rate quickens, breathing becomes rapid, and our senses become sharper. It's a primal reaction, one that's been with us since our early human ancestors had to fend off predators. But when we're watching a horror movie or listening to a ghost story, we're not actually in danger. We know on some level that we're safe. So that adrenaline rush doesn't lead to a real fight or a desperate flight. Instead, it simply amplifies our emotional responses, making us feel more alive, more alert. It's the thrill of a roller coaster ride without the risk of a real crash. Next, let's talk about the relief that follows the fear. This is another crucial element in our attraction to horror. After the adrenaline rush comes the relief. This is when our body realizes that the threat isn't real, that we're safe. Our heart rate slows down, our breathing returns to normal, and we're left with a feeling of satisfaction, a sense of having survived a dangerous situation. Even though we were never actually in danger, our body doesn't know that. It reacts as if we were, and when the danger passes, we're left with a sense of accomplishment. It's a bit like watching a suspenseful movie. You're on the edge of your seat, your heart pounding as the hero defuses a bomb or the detective chases a killer. And when it's over, when the hero succeeds or the killer is caught, you feel a sense of relief, a sense of satisfaction. That's what horror does to us on a more intense level. But there's more to it than just adrenaline and relief. Horror also allows us to explore our fears in a safe environment. It gives us a chance to confront our deepest, darkest fears without any real-world consequences. It's a bit like a therapy session where we can face our demons, understand them, and learn to deal with them. So, when we watch a horror movie or walk through a haunted house, we're not just seeking a thrill, we're also seeking understanding, a deeper insight into our own fears and anxieties. Fear, it seems, has a strange allure, a peculiar attraction that pulls us towards it. Horror movies, a breeding ground for fear, are immensely popular, but what role does catharsis play in this? Catharsis, a term coined in the realm of ancient Greek drama, is all about the purging or release of emotions, particularly those of fear, pity, or sorrow. It's a kind of emotional cleansing, a reset button for our pent-up feelings. Now you might be wondering, what does this have to do with horror movies? Well, quite a bit actually. Imagine you're watching a horror film. Your heart rate spikes, your palms sweat, and you're on the edge of your seat as the music builds to a spine-chilling crescendo. Suddenly there's a jump scare. You scream, maybe even throw your popcorn in the air. That adrenaline rush, that fear, it's all real. But here's the catch. You're not really in danger. You're safe in the confines of your living room or a movie theater. The fear is simulated, the danger is not real. This is where catharsis comes into play. Horror movies provide a controlled environment where we can confront our fears, experience them in full force, and then release them. It's like riding a roller coaster. The thrill is real, but we know we're safe. This ability to experience fear in a controlled setting, to let it out in a burst of emotion, that's catharsis. Through the twists and turns of a horror plot, we're taken on an emotional journey. The tension builds, the fear heightens, and then, when the credits roll, it's released. We leave feeling lighter, having left our fears behind in the darkness of the cinema. In a way, horror movies serve as a form of therapy, allowing us to confront our fears and anxieties and then leave them behind. So the next time you watch a horror film, remember this. What you're experiencing is more than just a thrill. It's a cathartic process, a release of pent-up emotions, a chance to confront and overcome your fears. In the darkness of the cinema, we find an unusual form of therapy. Haunted houses, with their eerie hallways and ghostly legends, draw crowds like a moth to a flame. What's the psychology behind this? Haunted houses, with their creaky floors, cobwebbed corners, and chilling stories, are a peculiar attraction. They're filled with the unknown, the inexplicable, the eerie, and yet we're drawn to them. What could be the reason behind this curious fascination? One of the significant factors is the thrill of exploring the unknown. The human mind is a curious entity, always seeking new experiences, new information. A haunted house represents this unknown. Every room, every shadowy corner, every whisper of the wind carries a mystery that stirs our curiosity. We walk through these haunted corridors not knowing what to expect, and that unpredictability adds to the excitement. The second factor is the satisfaction of surviving a perceived danger. Haunted houses provide a safe environment to experience fear. There's an undercurrent of danger, but we know it's not real. We scream, we jump, we feel our hearts racing, and when we come out on the other side, there's a sense of accomplishment, a sense of euphoria. It's a controlled way of experiencing fear and emerging victorious, which can be incredibly satisfying. And then there's the communal aspect of this experience. Fear, when shared, can be a bonding experience. Walking through a haunted house with a group of friends, sharing the screams and the laughter, can bring people closer. It's a shared adventure, a shared victory over fear. So the attraction to haunted houses stems from a combination of our love for mystery, our need for thrill, and our desire for communal experiences. They provide a controlled environment where we can face our fears, explore the unknown, and come out the other side feeling triumphant. Haunted houses, it seems, offer us a thrilling journey into the unknown and a triumphant return. Scary stories have been part of our culture for centuries. Why do they continue to captivate us? It's an intriguing question, isn't it? You see, these stories, these tales of horror and mystery, serve a much higher purpose than mere entertainment. One of the primary roles of scary stories is to teach survival skills. It's a fact that humans are wired for survival. Our ancestors relied on their instincts and knowledge of the world around them to stay alive. Scary stories, in a way, mirror this primal need. They introduce us to different dangers, various scenarios where the protagonist is in peril, and then show us how they navigate their way out of it. We subconsciously learn from these narratives, and they equip us with an understanding of how to react when faced with similar situations. Simultaneously, these stories also play a pivotal role in shaping societal norms. They often portray the consequences of breaking societal rules or moral codes. A character may be punished for their greed, vanity or cruelty, often in gruesome ways that leave a lasting impression. This helps reinforce societal values in a way that's both compelling and memorable. But let's not forget the satisfaction derived from solving a mystery and overcoming fear. There's a thrill in untangling the threads of a convoluted plot, a sense of achievement in predicting the unexpected twist. And when the protagonist finally overcomes their fear, we too feel a sense of relief, a sense of triumph. It's a journey that we take alongside the characters, and it's this journey that keeps us hooked. So you see, scary stories are more than just tales designed to frighten us. They're a reflection of our instincts, our societal norms, and our inherent desire to overcome challenges. They make us think, feel, and most importantly, learn. Scary stories, then, serve a dual purpose. They entertain us and educate us, and that, my friends, is the fascinating power of the human psyche. So, why do we love to be scared? It's a complex question with no simple answer. Delving into the depths of our psyche, we've navigated the eerie corridors of our fascination with horror. We've examined the thrill of fear, the psychology that underpins it, the cathartic appeal of horror movies, the strange allure of haunted houses, and the enduring power of scary stories. But as we reach the conclusion of our journey, we find ourselves face to face with a paradox. Fear, by its very definition, is an unpleasant emotion caused by the threat of danger, pain, or harm. It's our body's primal response to protect us from potential hazards. Yet, we actively seek out experiences that instill this very sensation. We flock to horror movies, we wander through haunted houses, we gather around the fire to exchange ghost stories. We willingly immerse ourselves in the macabre, the grotesque, the terrifying. This, my friends, is the paradox of fear. But what drives this paradox? Why are we drawn to the very thing our instincts are designed to avoid? Some suggest it's our way of flirting with danger without the real-world consequences. It's a safe way to experience the thrill of the unknown, the excitement of the forbidden. It's like a roller coaster ride, a controlled environment where we can feel the adrenaline rush, the heart pounding, the palms sweating, without the actual risk of harm. Others believe it's about conquering our fears. By confronting them in a fictional setting, we feel a sense of mastery, a triumph over our anxieties. The monsters on the screen, the spectres in the haunted house, the ghoul in the story, they all become surrogates for our real-life fears. And as we watch them being vanquished, we feel a sense of relief, a cathartic release of our pent-up anxieties. But perhaps, at its core, our love for horror reflects our unquenchable curiosity, our insatiable desire to explore the unknown. It's a facet of our complex human nature, our innate need to understand the world around us, including its darker aspects. We're drawn to the shadows because they hold the mysteries, the unknowns, the things that make us question, ponder and marvel. Horror, in its many forms, fulfills these psychological needs. It provides us with a safe avenue to experience fear, to confront our anxieties and to explore the unknown. It lets us grapple with life's big questions about mortality, about evil, about the nature of fear itself in a controlled setting. It gives us a chance to examine our own reactions, our emotions, our vulnerabilities, and in doing so, it offers us a deeper understanding of our own selves. From the spine-chilling suspense of a horror movie to the eerie atmosphere of a haunted house, from the dark allure of a ghost story to the unsettling beauty of a gothic novel, horror captivates us, terrifies us, and yet irresistibly draws us in. It's a testament to our fascination with the macabre, our paradoxical love affair with fear. And so we come full circle. The conclusion we draw is not a simple one, because our relationship with fear is far from simple. It's complex, multifaceted, deeply ingrained in our psyche. It's a dance with the dark, a flirtation with fear, a journey into the unknown. In the end, our love for horror reflects our complex human nature, our desire to explore, to understand and to conquer our fears.